Make sure everyone gets their projects out. I would like to see everyone's projects. If you have it, get it out. Your bread, your vegetables, your fruit.
Let's have some bubbles. The water turned a bit yellow because of the pineapple piece, and it smelled like wine.
It smells like wine. Don't let your parents drink it. Okay, so P says her experiment is amazing. P, tell us about your experiment.
My seed, it germinated.
It germinated?
Yeah.
What you put in your container?
A little water and a little seed. And it have some roots.
Oh, you put a seed in your container. So you have a plant growing?
Yeah.
What type of seed you put in there? From what?
Now I don't know what plant it is. Like pumpkin or what?
A pumpkin seed, okay. Like a melon. Okay, so anyone else have their project? I like your project. It's not the exact project because you're growing a plant. We're supposed to be growing something on a dead, like my bread. Anyone else have their project they would like to share? Ooh, Jenny. Let's see what Jenny has.
Here's my project, and I really hate it. This is the piece of fruit. This is a pineapple. I add water in, and it have a smell. It smells like wine. The water turned a bit yellow and white.
Yeah.
Like this, and the pineapple, when I hold it, it broke up into pieces. It has a big bubble and a bubble at the container bag, and it's the pineapple have these very soft.
It's very soft. What do you think is making it smell like wine?
I think it's because of the pineapple.
Yeah. So sugary stuff, pineapples. Yeah.
Yellow is also because the pineapple.
Thank you, Jenny. So yeah, Jenny's bag, she's starting to say it smells like wine. So that's kind of funny because wine is made by things eating very sugary things like grapes. So she's actually making wine inside of her bag right now. Okay, let's see someone else's project. Who else has a project they would like to share? Sharon, do you have a project you'd like to share?
Yep.
Okay, Sharon's going to show us his.
I only write it in the experiment observation.
It's okay, just, read us like your last day or something, or don't read us the whole thing. Just tell us your favorite part.
My last day, day 5,
Yep.
I made a very big mess when I did this experiment. And my dad always says, why do you put apple in the container and don't leave it in the refrigerator?
That's funny.
Even so, I explained to him.
Okay, what happened to your apple?
It's too soft and nasty.
Did it change color?
Nope.
No.
A little bit. A little.
A little. Does it smell different? Don't smell it, but probably doesn't smell too good either.
I tried to smell it, but too smelly.
Well, if you want to continue your project, what I would recommend is maybe you try to cut the apple in half and put it back into the container to see if it changes, what colors it changes.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, let me know how that works for you, Sharon. How about Philip? What is happening to yours?
Mine's, it is like, it still live. It still can live.
It still can live. What would you put inside of your container?
Like leaves.
Okay, so you put a plant inside of your container, so it's still alive?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Do you need to show? Do you need to see it?
I don't need to see it, but that's kind of crazy that your plant is still alive. That's really cool, Philip. Okay, and I'm gonna show you mine. Let's look at mine real quick and figure it out as a class. So I have, this is my bread now. Type in chat, what do you see on my bread? What do you see on my bread? Whew. Doesn't smell good either. It changes a little bit in color. Philip says fungi. Jenny says fungi. Yeah. Little black spots. So what do you see growing on my bread?
It's some of the, I don't know, but it looks like it's black.
Yeah. So that's a fungi. That's mushrooms. So it's kind of like mushrooms. How did they get into my container? I never put them in my container. How did they get in there? Any guesses?
Can you talk it again?
Yeah, so
Can you say?
there's mushrooms growing in here, but I didn't add any mushrooms. How did they get in here? How did the mushrooms get in here?
Because when you put it at a box, it will be very no more fresh air for the bread, so it make the bread begins mix some mushrooms or blah blah blah. I'm not sure.
Okay. So there's no more fresh air. Thank you, Mai. How about David?
Because of mold.
Yeah, how does mold get onto the bread? Where'd it come from? I put it inside of a container.
It came from.
This is a little bit of a lesson. So mushrooms have these things called spores. Spores are like seeds. So like how a seed grows a plant, spores grow fungi. I'd like the whole class to say the word spore. So as a class, let's say the word spore. Spore. Very good. Spores are microscopic. A spore is microscopic. What does it mean to be microscopic? Does anyone know? Who has heard of the word microscopic? It's a very common word in science. What does it mean if something is microscopic? So guys, something that is microscopic is super, super small. It's so small, you can't see it. When something is microscopic, you cannot see it. You need a microscope to see it. You need to look into a microscope to see it. Spores are microscopic. You can't see them. They're everywhere. Mushroom spores, fungi spores are everywhere. You're breathing them in right now. They're in the air, they're floating. Spores are invisible. They're not invisible, but they're microscopic. They're super, super tiny. So when I open this container and put my piece of bread in, spores were already inside of the container. They're everywhere inside of the air. So then when the spore found the food, the dead bread, it started to eat it. What is fungi? What is a mushroom? Is it a consumer or decomposer?
A mushroom is a decomposer.
A decomposer, very good. Yeah, I'm growing a decomposer inside of my container. It's eating or decomposing the bread. Very good job, guys. We're going to have to move on into class now. This might be a 2-day lesson just because of our project, and it takes a little bit of time to go over that. If you guys have a project that you would like to share, make sure you bring it to next class. I would love to see your projects next class as well. Let's see what type of decomposers you're growing. So we are going to start with our PowerPoint now. These are your vocab words from last class, and this was your homework. We talked about floods, drought, and erosion. So let's match these vocab words one more time really quickly. I know you guys know them, but I've rearranged them. Let's see if you guys can match them again. Last time you guys got 100%. Let's see if you can do that again. Okay, let's see if you guys are right. I'm gonna put my answers on. Very good, guys. You guys got 100% again. So let's talk about these. Did you choose flood or drought for homework? Amy.
I choose flood.
What happened to your plants and animals in the flood?
The plants die because they do not get enough sunlight. They just get too much water.
Too much water, yes. What happened to the animals?
The animals have to move away. Move away.
Very good.
As
Yeah,
well-
so especially what?
The animals that live there move to another place that didn't have any flood.
Yeah, it didn't have a flood. They can move to high ground or somewhere that didn't have a flood. Very good. Yeah, guys, remember, animals can always move unless they're super tiny. Little insects might not be able to move, but bigger animals will always be able to move if it doesn't happen too quick and try to find new land. Okay? But the plants can't get up and walk away. The plants will just go underwater, and they have to hope the water disappears before they die because they cannot get sunlight and they cannot get air under the water. How about Lynn? Lynn,
Yes.
did you flood or drought for your homework? Which one did you do for your homework, flood or drought?
Absolutely flood.
You did flood? What happened to your animals in the flood?
Well, the water is getting into the city, and people, the first one, I also label some like people standing up the tower and the screen. How
So you flooded a city?
yeah, and I also was a part of the house. The squirrels down plants. Then the water will go down to the roof, and they will get, and the plants will get huge and get healthy and grow bigger.
Okay, so you flooded the city, but then the water moved down and made the plants healthier. Very good. Who chose drought? Raise your hand if you chose drought for your homework. Okay, Belle, what happened to your plants and animals during a drought?
It's happened that the ants and the birds, the baby birds, and some fish, die
Oh, they died. Okay. Let's see if
because the fish died because first they live, but then the car just stopped and the water is so yucky. The
Oh,
water is not fresh.
okay. I feel bad for your fish. Okay, Philip, what happened during your drought? What happened to your plants during your drought?
The plants, they all die.
They all died. What happened to the animals?
And some plants like brown.
They turned brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the animals, some animals also die because they survive the drought, and some do not die because they can find water. Like they can go another place and find water.
Yeah. Very good. So guys, remember, floods are when you have too much water, and droughts are when you have too little water. Too much of something is always bad. Not always, but too much of something is usually bad, and too little of something is also very bad. You just need the perfect amount of water. Water is very powerful. Everything that's living needs it. So we got natural changes. Water, wind, and other non-living things can change the environment. So you guys learned about how fire can change the environment, how wind can change the environment, and how water can change the environment. But living things can also cause changes. What are some possible scenarios in which an animal or plant changes the environment in a way that impacts other animals? Can you guys think of a possible scenario in which an animal or plant changes the environment? You think
As a bird,
a bird? How does a bird affect other animals?
when the north is cold, it flies to the south.
Yeah, very good. So the environment, when it gets cold, the birds will fly to the south. So yeah, that's a perfect example of a non-living thing, the cold, making a change to the environment. Okay. But we are looking for a living thing, but that's a very good example of a non-living thing. I'll give some hints on screen. What's on our screen? Does anyone know? Amy says termites. Yeah, that's the picture on the right. There's termites, very good on the right. What is the picture on the left? It's a beaver, guys. It's a beaver. I'm sure you guys have heard of a beaver. Let's watch how a beaver changes its environment. I have a video, so let's watch how a beaver changes its environment. So I'll read this for you guys real quick. Animals and plants can make big changes to their environments. Animals can change the environment when they build shelters. Beaver can cause a new lake to form when they build a dam across a river using trees and sticks. The mounds that termites build add nutrients to the soil. These nutrients help plants to grow. Some of these plants may be used by humans. Okay, so the beavers can build dams that can make it across rivers. Let's look at that real quick, okay? So I'm going to play the video, and then we're going to practice reading for the rest of class.
Beavers are vegetarians. They gnaw through bark to eat the sugary layer underneath. They've been gnawing through forests for 20 million years. Felling trees with your teeth takes great strength, skill, and patience. One technique is to slice halfway through and let the wind do the rest. The beaver's incisors are strengthened with iron, which makes them orange. They grow continuously and even self-sharpen. The pond makes it easier to move around the heavy logs they need to build their dams. Out of the water, it's a struggle. Stones help weigh down the base. The whole family works together, carefully interlocking the timber. They dredge mud from the pond bottom to seal the dam. Each pond traps several inches of sediment every year, so there's plenty of it. The young act as apprentice builders, learning the tricks of the trade. The final results are impressive.
So a beaver just built a dam. A family of beavers just built that dam that is going to make a lake or a pond.
In the Rocky Mountains, beaver dams slow.
You guys can see that it's making a little pond here. You guys can see that the dam has made it so the water is kind of overflowing and makes more of a pond.
Slowly filter billions of tons of water. The ponds build up soil and nutrients and help prevent floods and droughts.
Okay, so what happened in the video? What did the beavers do?
They are making the pond.
Yeah, they're making a pond. What did they make to make the pond?
They cut down tree
Yeah, they cut
and
down.
take
Yeah, they cut down trees and what?
and goes somewhere to take a stick.
Yeah, they took this. They cut down trees and took the sticks and logs and made a dam, which flooded the land a little bit and made lakes and ponds. What animals and plants did they affect? What animals and plants do beavers affect?
The trees.
Yeah, they cut down trees
They eat the tree.
and they eat the trees. Very good. It's biting the inside of the tree. Their teeth never stop growing. Beavers' teeth never stop growing. They constantly grow bigger and bigger and bigger. As they chew the wood, their teeth break down. So they don't get really big, but they never stop growing. What type of animals do beavers affect? Frog. Very good. Yeah, so beavers make dams, which make ponds and lakes, and that could make it so a frog could live there. We'll see if you guys can come up with a few more. So right now we have frogs and trees. Birds. Okay, how do they affect birds, Philip?
They cut down trees, and birds need trees to build their nests.
Yeah, so if a bird is living inside of a tree, they might cut down that tree.
Yes.
Yeah. What are some positive effects of beavers?
Positive.
Yeah.
So the beaver will make a dam so waters will stay in the pond and do not go out.
Yeah.
I think.
No, it's right. Dams block water and make it so water won't go out. And this makes it so there's ponds and lakes. If these beavers did not exist, if beavers went extinct, all the rivers would just be rivers. But now with the beavers, you have rivers, you have lakes, you have ponds. They're making all that stuff. And that gives more ecosystems and environments for other plants and animals to survive. So without beavers, many species would disappear. We're going to finish this reading next class. We still have a lot of reading left to do. So we're going to read this next class. We're also going to read about biodiversity. And that's your homework for tonight. Let's go over your homework. So we are going to continue this lesson tomorrow. We had a lot to go over because you guys both had homework and your projects to go over. If you have a project that you would like to show me, if you have any mold growing or fungi growing that you'd like to show me, please bring it next class. That's how we'll start next class. But for your homework, it's super simple tonight. It's super simple tonight. Please read page 322 in your book. Write down the definition of biodiversity. That's what you're going to be learning about next class, as well as the reading today. So I would like you guys to define biodiversity and why is biodiversity important to an ecosystem. So read your book, figure out what the word biodiversity means and why is it important